This is gonna be the greatest part of all time. Actual Pokemon X and Y leaks. No one wants to see anything more. It's right now. Holy crap, X and Y leaks delivered. There's so much. Shut up, Central. Oh my god, this is the first crap I see. Go to the beginning of this. Another discarded line. Wait, what the frick? What is all this? Whoa! Oh! Gen 6 beta Pokemon. Wow, it's their freaking character sheets. Oh, they're... I don't know who this Tumblr belongs to, but they saved my life. What is this? Masa, what do I have to... 2011? Masa, how many times do I have to tell you? Stop remaking things. That was Flabébé? And you decided, no. It's not weird enough. It doesn't quite look like filler yet. That looks like a fairy type. I don't know what you're freaking thinking. I know it's not Monster, okay? It's our umbrella term. That was Flabébé. That was Floette. And you telling me... That's such an incredible design. You telling me that with the Eternal Flower would not have looked badass? I'm about to show you a picture of Floette. How in the frick, with a clear conscience, has that turned into this? They need to just reuse this and make some kind of mermaid fairy Pokemon at this point. And Whoa! Bro, I can't imagine they replaced this for some freaking bouquet hair. Where were you May 18, 2011? That's where Masuda was. Well, Sugimori probably. But we don't talk about Sugi. What the frick is this? There's a male. Is that a male evolution? You're killing me. Wait, it's a female-only line. Maybe it started off as a male and female line. What am I looking at here? All three of these are different. This one has a freaking mean eye. This one has a kind eye and balls down here. This one looks like a freaking seahorse. I guess they're saying when you raise a Flabébé up, it can evolve into 3 different forms. Maybe it depends what your high stat is, like Tyrogue. So if you have high attack, you become this, defense or speed. But this was their original take for having multiple forms. I can't imagine this. What's the next one? What is this? What even is that Pokemon? It's just fully scrapped. It says Hikuidori Pokemon, which is one of these birds here. It's this flightless bird. You took a pathetic looking bird and made it look so badass. Look at this, that's him. It's like Mandibuzz. Maybe these were a counterpart to them, where Vullaby wears it like underwear or something like that. I mean, look a picture of it. But this one, a skull like Cubone, then it's wearing boots? Wouldn't it be cool if its Pokedex entries even said it wears the skull of its parents? This is awfully reminiscent of something from a faraway region. Just for the fun of it, say it's a lot like Cubone. No skull, cassowary Pokemon, I'm upset now. We were robbed. Holy frick. If I hear this word again. What is this? See, now we're unrobbed. We were blessed. It's a chameleon. It's like Kecleon's cousin. Yeah, we don't need to worry too much about... Oh! What? How? Oh, it looks better than more. It's coiled up. Now scrap that, bro. No one need to see that. A flamingo. It's so pretty, I guess. I'm sorry. Yo, that's so fire. They gave it a feminine appearance and they made its talons look like high heels and in a French region. It's so beautifully posh. How the frick could you scrap Pokemon that fit the France theme? No freaking way. They turned this into Aromatisse. Oh, what is this? I guess it's some kind of fish that zooms around underwater because it's so sharp and streamlined. And what does it become? A water praying mantis. A peanut. Oh my god. Oh my god, bro. It has peanut whatever. It's like cracked out of the peanut and becomes something. Well, are you the ancestor of peanuts? This is like the Applin before Applin in the sense that it's a very unconventional take for a dragon. But it's so freaking adorable. Who wouldn't have hated that? What do we have down here? Oh yeah, the dragon that did make it. What even is this? So only the last one down there survived. Are you telling me? Like the bats in a cave, there would have been 8 different Noibats you can encounter. So we have like Savannah for this one, Monsoon for this one. So you would find them in different locations. This one would be in some heavy rainfall location. This was the first game they split their decks because there's 3 individual regions. So these would have been spread across all of them. And the 4th one too, Southern Kalos. So you probably would have found like 2 of these for each regional Kalos decks. I mean, how much more flavorful is that? Here's the thing. This has already been drawn. You've already come up with all the different color schemes. Blue on purple, green on pink, yellow on yellow. You already sorted all this out. And it quite literally takes like 5 minutes because they all have the exact same model to make them all in the game once you've made one. It's the straight equivalent of Zubat. You run into like 80 Zubats constantly, but in this region, it would seem a bit more flavorful. You keep running into different kinds of bats. It's very possible that this was never meant to even evolve. So there was no Noivern, 8 different Noivern forms that these evolved into. It might have just been a standalone Pokemon, which, if I'm honest, is very fitting. Give them all different stats. If their BSD hits around almost 500, which is like the same as Tauros, they're all fully usable. Fluffy and shaved Furfrou. Oh, wow. So they had a Furfrou, wait, for if you let it grow out too much? And then you could you legit strip it? Imagine the speed skyrockets. Well, all these posts are taken down, but I think the Tumblr covered them. What is this? Is this real? Yo, is this real? That's real? That was Mega Charizard originally? That is so much more distorted. Man has burning fire in his throat. Look like a grandpa? Obviously, I like the slimmed down version, but this is more true to what Mega Evolution is supposed to do to you. It's supposed to make you look effed up and unnecessarily evolved further. That's Charizard. Okay, I'm trying my best to defend you. Freaking scrap this. I don't know what's going on, no? And that boy pretty much stayed the same. All they did was get rid of the mustache, which honestly, they should have kept the mustache. Wow. Original Mega takes. That is insane to see. I want to see beta designs for all the Megas. I don't know if it'll exist. What's next? According to the internal documents for Southern Kalos, what? They cut 2 towns, 2 cities, 4 dungeons, I guess like caves, and 8 routes. Holy frick. This region is huge. Bro, cover up the bottom and look how small Kalos looks all of a sudden. That's like half the size of the whole region. This is unbelievably like Kanto to Johto. After you beat the game, you would have to come back to the very start, and then you can probably go south. Just like you go back to Newbark Town and then just surf and you're in Kanto. Look, there's an island there. There's 2 islands. You can see it right here. So if this is the starting town and this is Route 1, what you might have had is someone in the starting town blocking the pathway downward. Now this pathway no longer exists, but there would have been an obvious pathway that someone was blocking. Because if you look, the first route down jumps to 19. When 18 is right here near Snowbell in the Pokemon Village. So you would go down, there's a city, Route 20 that leads to a town that leads to the 2 islands, another city, and then these would be the 4 dungeons leading to 4 branched out areas. Southern Kalos was huge. I don't know, Game Freak. The island on the right was called Battle Island. Don't do this, bro. The game is so stripped down compared to this vision. For a game that was marking a new era in Pokemon with gimmicks, this was actually a grand ambition. Just like we have Battle Frontier, Battle Subway, they had a whole new one called Battle Island that might have even had Battle Brains and all. It's not far-fetched at all. Think of how big this Southern Kalos was. For all you know, the Battle Brains would have been some unique take on characters that we know exist in Kalos right now. Like, for example, let's just play around. Remember the first gym leader, the bug girl? She has a sister who works for the press. What an unusual character to exist in the game. What if you go to Battle Island, you make it to the end of one of the facilities, let's say there's 4 of them, she's the battle brain. You never realized that when you first ran into her, but she was actually a strong trainer just hanging out and checking up on her sister. And there's a backstory that she's the one who gave this sister the camera. Of all the things that were scrapped, how did her existence make it into the game unless it was a leftover of something? There was something in Pokemon X and Y called the Battle Chateau. It was like a battle tower. And if you climbed to the very top and was able to meet with the highest authority there, it was a woman called the Grand Duchess. And it was just Diantha. She was the Grand Duchess. So, in early Pokemon X and Y, maybe the Battle Chateau wasn't meant to exist there. Imagine she was actually meant to be a secret battle brain on that island. But then, when they scrapped it all, they decided to convert that idea into the Battle Chateau and then just make her the Grand Duchess there. She's an actress, right? So to stay away from the spotlight, maybe she likes to hang out there in her disguise. What other characters are underused in X and Y? You never know. Maybe like a former Team Flare member that didn't support Team Flare in their final moments. A lot like Malva. You know how Malva didn't stand up to you, but she was a part of it? You could have had someone like that, a Malva equivalent, as a member of the Battle Brains too. This is crazy. Okay, well, let's keep going. There were originally supposed to be 4 mythicals in X and Y. What would the 4th one have been? They're all so weird. If I had to say it was a Pokemon that already exists, I guess Magearna fits the role well. Magearna was like in between Gen 6 and 7. So maybe they thought to scrap it because it was a lot like Diancie, and then they decided, you know what, just use it for the movie. I guess for now, we'll just use that. We gotta be grounded. We're not going back to crazy theory T-tar mode. What's next? The ultimate weapon was originally a living being! Go back to crazy T-tar mode! I said this! I made a whole... I freaking knew the ultimate weapon was a creature. The ultimate weapon is capable of taking in life energy. Completely unexplained how AZ came up with that. He based it off something, and it is an organism. I made a whole theory saying that the ultimate weapon is the A legendary. What the frick is written here? The ultimate weapon was originally a living being described as a vessel. What? A being described as a vessel taken by a virus or microorganism, bro. Holy frick, this is a scribble. Holy, I don't even know who that is, but this is a scribble from September 2010. Pokemon Black and White came out September 2010. So, and in Japan, I'm saying, untranslated to English, in that time that we were legally playing it on our emulators, this is what was happening behind the scenes. Ultimate weapon talk. You know what this is? This is a germ. So they're saying the ultimate weapon at its core is a germ. So maybe AZ in some way, we don't know what the time period he's from is like, but he somehow found this organism and based the entire creation off that organism's capabilities. And so the ultimate weapon is actually some kind of virus that feeds off life energy that AZ invented this to exploit and turn into a weapon. This is very interesting. This is different than what I was saying. I was saying like the flower it is in now is not its true form. It's a temporary form that it takes until it is fed enough life energy. Then it would revert into some kind of Pokemon. And it would be this incredibly powerful Pokemon that now that it's been fed life energy has a similar power to Xerneas and Yveltal. And one of the things Zygarde does in maintaining order and why it has this ability to break this life and death energy is this is one of the grand threats it fought 3,000 years ago. Something like that. That was my theory. Holy frick. Here's what it's saying. It's calling it a monster. It's saying it's a monster that's being strengthened by this virus until it can't be controlled. But the monster is not in control anymore. Now the virus has taken over. So it's some kind of parasitic virus that infects maybe an innocent Pokemon or a monster. I imagine this to be freaking microorganism sized. But it is now a parasitic relationship where the monster itself has no will of its own. It's being fully controlled by this virus. What is the virus? I guess the virus could be all these ribbons you see. And this is the actual innocent monster underneath. What does this have anything to do with the ultimate weapon? It does have it written here that it's some kind of final weapon. What is going on here? Maybe when it says AZ built this machine and that's the ultimate weapon, is that maybe wrong? Who's reciting that story when we learn it? It's not AZ. It's, if I remember, it's Lysander reciting the story from whatever he learned, whatever he uncovered. So maybe he could be wrong about things. Maybe the truth is not that AZ went and built this machine. Maybe he went and found this machine, like it was a machine he always knew existed. And it's not a machine. It's really the exponentially grown mutant virus that is this monster. And why they buried the machine, right? It's almost like there's nothing you can do to stop it from constantly growing, but to bury it underground, keep it isolated from sunlight or anything, and hope it doesn't continue to grow much. But AZ had knowledge of its existence, so he goes, digs it out, and brings it to the battlefield. That's pretty much what happens after the war, right? The weapon gets buried again. Then this leads us to think about the modern games. When Lysander fires the weapon, is the implication that he's finally destroyed the ultimate weapon? Well, considering there's some lore to this that we've not explored, I want to say the ultimate weapon is still alive. If the weapon itself is destroyed, and by weapon I mean this giant flowery form that it's grown to, it's like Cell. All that it's grown to is destroyed, but it survives somewhere deep down and is now lurking underground to re-emerge one day. This is something they could revisit at some point if they were to continue Kalos in a modern game. But for now, we're going to the past, before Lysander breaks the weapon and all, and where this man could be brought into question again. This is crazy. I don't know if I've interpreted this correct, because the more I stare at it, it looks nothing related to Pokemon X and Y at all. What were they trying to imply with this? Keep going. Flying through the sky was originally planned for X and Y. Wait, that's why sky battles exist in the first place. Of course. There should have been Pokemon in the sky. Wow, of course that's what was planned. The idea of a sky trainer is so empty and meaningless. Why do we have these random trainers that want to do sky battles? It's because they had a program and just wanted to put it in. And that's how we were supposed to originally find the legendary... That is amazing. Yo, this is crazy. All this planned for X1's postgame, the actual postgame we got is... Let's go to the comments. So that's why they made Skyla sexy pilot Latina. Bro, wrong gen. What's this artwork? To this day, if X and Y just had a postgame, it would be one of the best Pokemon games. There's something very satisfying when you play through it, when you're Mega Evolving and all. They were trying something fun here. Until they weren't. Gamefreak originally planned a hatching facility for X and Y where you could give them eggs and hatch them all at once. That's great. I freaking was a victim of that. That was a very rare moment in Pokemon's entire history where people couldn't hack. You know, in all the DS games you could hack. For that short period of Pokemon X and Y, you couldn't hack. People had to breed and get perfect IVs. When you think in hindsight, what a drag to have to do all that just to compete online. And, you know, for that, I admire all the additions they made to make IV training and all easier. But taking it back to a time where no one could hack and secrets had to be uncovered the hard way, to the point where we didn't even know what Hoopa, Volcano, and Diancie looked like. That was sick. So yeah, this would have been great. But I guess at this point, it's kind of counterintuitive. It would be kind of like a slot machine. You just get 5 eggs, drop it off, and there might even be a button that says, would you like to discard them all? And it probably won't let you discard shiny Pokemon. So it's like a shiny hunting slot machine. All right, whatever, keep going. Yet another discarded X and Y feature. Create your custom gyms. The girl, what was her name? Hikaru? She talked about this. Let's see what they had. You know what? A freaking course. This is probably what got scrapped and then just turned into a friend safari. You probably was gonna be able to have that grass in your gym. It probably was supposed to be, wow, like a secret base. Except you can have your own trainer positioned there with the team you select. So when people visit your secret base / gym, they can actually battle you. And maybe there's a currency where for every 1 per player, each player you beat, you get a badge. And so people try to get like, I don't know, freaking 200 badges. Players create their own original gyms and share them online. Other players can attempt to conquer these gyms. Once a gym is conquered, the gym leader, which is an NPC version of the player, can join the player's gym. This is even more sick because this is the first Pokemon game where every main character doesn't look the same. My NPC would be with the clothes I gave it and the haircut I gave it and all. So you would have unique looking trainers. That's so cool. So I could position my NPC, then if you beat my gym, I could position you right where I want to in the gym. They might have added like warp panels, obstacles, and stuff you could put in and design a little puzzle with gym trainers that you slowly accumulate that leads to you as the gym leader. They're never gonna do this, are they? You have to do this for Gen 10. It kind of is a hard to regain opportunity because X and Y still had a tile system. You're still moving along a tile map. In Sun and Moon and onward, you're not really. It's still very doable, but it's harder to put together. To think, we went from having this intricate Pokemon gym to a friend safari. The Pokemon village was originally planned to be a town entirely populated by Ditto disguising as human. That is incredible. I know Gamefreak has officially said Ditto and Mew. That's not the truth. But how fitting is it to have Dittos all over the Pokemon village and Mewtwo in that cave there? Listen, I think it's when I say Pokemon, Gamefreak, Anime Team and all have no courage. I don't fully believe when they say they didn't plan the Mew Ditto crap. Back in Gen 1 is when they put much more thought into their stories. In my head, it's very obvious. In my head, Ditto absolutely is a Mew. How the frick does Ditto and Mew, how are they the only Pokemon would transform? So even though they've said officially in releases and all, they're not related, I bet you, you know what? Have some of these leaks reveal that. In their studio, that we know Ditto's Mew, don't tell anyone. The entire town was populated by disguised Ditto, and you would even find disguised versions of the characters. You'd go up to Walfrick and Tuck and he just says Ditto. You'd meet Serena, your rival, would just say Ditto. Imagine the first time you go into Mewtwo's cave. It's like Lysander standing there with his back turned to you. And you're like, holy frick, he's still alive. You talk to him, Ditto. Then you come back later and now it's a Mewtwo. They could have done something where the characters reset every day, every 24 hours. And when you talk to these NPCs in Pokemon Village, they have a higher chance of being a shiny Ditto. So it's a way to shiny hunt. Every day you would go and talk to all the characters, see which ones they spawned as this time, because they would maybe spawn as all sorts of different characters that you would find around Kalos. Let's just say there's like 7 around the whole Pokemon Village, including one that would be in Mewtwo's cave, the way I was describing. And so you would make your rounds every day trying to shiny hunt Ditto, giving players some post-game stuff to do, just kill time. That's crazy because that's actually not one of the harder things to just have programmed into Pokemon Village. Every character already has their model made. You just have to freaking do it. You just have to make it so you talk to a Tierno standing there and it encounters you as Ditto. They probably had some cowardly thought process like, oh no, but if we show Ditto as humans, how will the people react? It might be a fine line. One more post. One more. What is this? The ultimate weapon? Yo, there's freaking diagrams!